A cluster is a group of gifted students participating together in a shared educational experience. This is the main screen used in developing a gifted education plan for a cluster. It lets you create clusters and assign them to teachers and acts as a hub to various other features of the program. It's a very busy screen and a very interactive screen, and this video will take you on a tour of it. The process of creating the plan for a gifted education cluster begins with the selection of a school at the top of the screen and proceeds down the middle to the bottom. Various screen components are populated and are made available to you or not, depending on the role you occupy in the process. I'm logged into the program today as Jim Doe, the lead gifted teacher at Jefferson Elementary School. As such, the location for Jim is pre-selected to be Jefferson Elementary. The school is always pre-selected for school-level leads and teachers, but if we were logged in as a district-level administrator, the program would allow us to select from any of the schools in the district, and we could look at plans from all over the district. Once a school has been selected, the teacher drop-down box is populated with a list of all the teachers who will be participating in teaching gifted education students. A teacher will always see their name pre-selected in this list, whereas school leads and district administrators are given the opportunity to choose from any of the teachers in the selected location. We're going to be looking at the plans that Jerry Leno is responsible for today. Once a teacher has been selected, the cluster name drop-down box is populated with a list of all the clusters that have been created by or assigned to the selected teacher. An option is also available in this list for creating a new cluster and designating its subject. Let's select the Math 3 cluster for further examination. Upon selection of a cluster, you see two lists of students being dynamically populated based on the student's name, based on the cluster name you have selected. The leftmost list contains students who have been identified as gifted or talented in the selected school, but who have not been included as members of the cluster. The rightmost list contains those students who have been selected to participate in the cluster. Students can be moved between these two lists, making them members of the cluster or removing them from it by highlighting their name and clicking the directional arrows between the lists. I'll add Bob Friend to the list of cluster participants by clicking his name in the left-hand list and clicking the arrow button pointing to the right. I can hold down the Control key, click multiple students, and move multiple students at one time between the two lists, and just as easily remove multiple students from the list of cluster members. Once we've created or selected a cluster, we can proceed into further refining the definition of the cluster by clicking the Define button. This screen will be described only briefly here. Another demonstration video is available to explain its operation in more detail. The Outcomes tab is where we can add predefined rubrics as objectives or outcomes of the cluster. You notice one rubric has been selected for this plan. The Status tab lets you document cluster progress in the form of text descriptions, and if any SOLs have been addressed by the cluster, it is indicated under the Status tab as well. The Students Note tab is where we can add comments for students on an individual basis to be included on reports to families and local office notes on student progress and participation. A student's name is selected from this drop-down box, and the comments and notes can then be added for that particular student. Returning to the main cluster definition screen, we see that below the Define button, a button labeled Rate. Clicking this button takes you to a screen where you can rate students on the skill level they've achieved in each selected rubric or outcome of the cluster. Again, we've only selected one rubric for this plan, and that is the Math Poster Design rubric. When we select it, we see the Goals drop-down list populated with a listing of goals for that rubric, and we will select Communicate Mathematical Concepts through the poster. Once we select a goal, the ratings relevant to the goal is listed in the rating drop-down box, and any ratings previously recorded for the student members of the cluster appear in the list at the bottom of the screen. New ratings can now be assigned to the student as demonstrated. I'll select Practitioner and make Oscar Grouch a practitioner. When we've finished assigning student ratings, the Done button returns us to the main cluster definition screen again. That completes this video. I hope it has been helpful in introducing DE Planner to you, and have a great day.